Elden Ring, NightLAME. It's a new game. Correction. I'm coming back. Elden Ring, NightLAME is out, and it actually caught me by surprise because I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the release date. I was paying attention to a lot of the content that was released around the game before it actually officially released, watching videos and seeing what people had to say about it, and also checking out some reviews as well as Metacritic scores. Actually not surprised to find that it's reviewing okay, but quite a few scores are either mediocre or in the negative. And whether you're looking at Metacritic or Steam, the scores tend to indicate the same thing. Some people really like it, but there are a lot of people that think it has problems, giving it a score around a 70-ish%, 7 out of 10, IGN, I'm looking at you, or lower. And one of the reasons for that is because if any other company such as Ubisoft or EA had done what FromSoft has done here, well, that game would have received immense criticism and been heavily mocked. Let's talk about it. I'm Fox with RealMarcFoxx, and this is your home for rational, reasonable, real gamers.
What if this is as good as it gets?
So what's wrong with Elden Ring NightLAME? Well, it's not so much what's wrong with it, it's the whole idea of NightLAME to begin with. Is it a bad game? Well, I haven't actually played it, I haven't bought it, I don't plan to. And some of you may think that I can't talk about something that I haven't used or purchased. And if you're going to say that, then I'm about to hand you a pizza that I just baked for you. It's burnt to a black crisp. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't take a bite of this pizza, you could not possibly know whether you'd like it or not. Even though your wealth of experience living life has taught you that if anything is burnt to a black crisp, it's not going to taste good. I could also say that if you've never injected battery acid straight into your veins, then you don't know if you'd like it or not. But I'm pretty sure you disagree with me and say that you feel very confident it would not be enjoyable. And so do I. That's why I haven't done it and don't plan to. Long story short, you don't have to play a game to know that you're probably not going to like it simply by looking at footage and other people playing it. After all, when's the last time you saw a trailer for a movie and thought, wow, that does not look like the type of movie I would have any interest in. That trailer made me want to watch it less than when I didn't know anything about it. But the only way I'll know if I'll like it is I have to go pay for a ticket and watch it. You probably never thought that. You probably look at movie trailers and think, you know what? I'm not interested in that one. Oh, that one looks interesting. And that's how we approach video games. You can look at trailers. Unfortunately, they often contain a lot of computer-generated graphics that don't represent actual gameplay. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. And they also contain sometimes very stylized gameplay that doesn't represent the actual experience. But now we have real, honest-to-goodness gameplay of NightLAME. And what do we see? Well, it's essentially recycled Elden Ring content, multiplayer only edition. Now, as I mentioned before, if Electronic Arts or Ubisoft had done this with one of their games, if Ubisoft had taken the latest Far Cry, recycled a bunch of the content, added a little bit of new content, then re-released it in a multiplayer-only co-op mode, I think there would have been heavy criticism against Ubisoft for making a cash grab. Some people refer to this NightLAME game as an asset flip. And it's not technically an asset flip, because asset flips require that they get assets from just like a game store, like for example, game development store, like Unreal Engine 5's default assets, Unity's default assets. No, these aren't default assets included in any game engine. These are assets that From Software has ripped from its own game, Elden Ring. But we've already played that. In fact, we played a bunch of it, and then we played a big DLC for it that felt more like it should have just been a sequel or another game. And now they're releasing another thing for Elden Ring that feels like it should have just been its own thing instead of just basically being a spin-off with a whole bunch of recycled content. You're going to see a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same enemies, you're going to see a lot of the same moves, some new ones, of course. But the problem here is this is a co-op online only game. So essentially, once the online interest in the game starts to die off, even if From Software includes a single player only mode where you can just play by yourself, it really takes away a lot of the enjoyment. You essentially want to have at least one other person, if not all three, and I don't think currently the game is balanced even for two. So once interest in this game wanes and everything sort of levels off and you're not able to find randoms and you don't have friends that want to play it anymore, this game is going to get shelved. And many of you are going to say that's fine because that's what it's like to buy a multiplayer co-op only game, but at the same time, this is From Software. Is this what we expect from Software?
I don't know, maybe, yes.
I mean, yes, they're trying something new, but at the same time, it's not really new. It's Elden Ring. They're using the base Elden Ring engine and a ton of the graphics and assets from that game, recycling it, repackaging it, putting in a few new things, giving it this online format and saying, here, pay $40 for this.
How dare you?
I have very little to no interest in playing NightLAME, and I don't anticipate ever buying it.
And that I refuse to believe.
In fact, I'm surprised that NightLAME isn't just like a free edition or $10 or $20 DLC or content pack for Elden Ring, because that's essentially what it feels like. From looking at the gameplay footage, I of course have not played it.
Alrighty then.
But again, we got to get back to looking at this objectively. Do we all love From Software? Well, for the most part, yes. Most of us really do like From Software because for the most part, they haven't missed. Many people consider Dark Souls 2 subpar compared to Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne. I myself think the game is just really, really subpar for From Software standards, and they should never do what they did with Dark Souls 2 again.
No junk food!
But at the same time, we can't look at From Software and consider them the golden boy developer that can do no wrong.
That's a bold statement.
They can mess up just like anybody else can. And if EA or Ubisoft does something and we criticize the heck out of it and call it a cash grab and say it's just recycled content, but From Software does it and suddenly we're all like, oh yes, yes, gimme more.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
It harkens back to the whole idea of, don't question, just consume product and get excited for next product. I'm here questioning the product. So if you believe in that notion that we shouldn't just get excited for the next product, we should ask questions, we should look at it critically, then you should be open to a critical analysis of whether Elden Ring NightLAME was really a good use of From Software's resources and time based on what gamers want.
You know what I'm gonna do about it? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tweet my displeasure.
I don't really feel like this is the direction we should go. Do you want future Souls and Souls-like games to basically just release a single-player version that has the online component, and then release a bunch of spin-offs?
I don't know, maybe, yes.
To release a co-op only mode, and release, the infamous Bloodborne kart racing, which wasn't from Software, obviously. But, half joking here, what I'm saying is we don't want cheap spin-offs that recycle the content, charge us, and want us to pay as if it's a new game, when really they're just recycling the content that we've already seen.
If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace!
I get it, there's some new stuff in here, but at the same time, does the amount of new stuff in here and the limited versatility and playability of an online co-op only game well into the future warrant charging $40?
No! God!
They took quite a while to develop this apparently, and a lot of resources and time were spent on this that could have been spent on the next great Souls-like, or could have been spent on Miyazaki's efforts to do more of like a JRPG with Souls-like elements, even though they've been beat to the punch by Sandfall Interactive with Claire Expedition 33. This channel was once pretty much known as a Souls channel. That's primarily what I did for quite a few years, and some people are still here from that era. They remember when just about everything I uploaded was Souls-related content.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
Lots of PvP stuff, playthroughs, talking about guides, how to get through the game, and tips and tricks and all that stuff. And I was not super prominent, but I was a known, somewhat known, sometimes infamously known member of the Souls community. I've played Dark Souls since it was originally on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Then I played it when it was brand new on the PC. I played Dark Souls 2, I played 3, I played Bloodborne, I played Sekiro, I've played Elden Ring. I have played so many of From Software's games, all of their more recent games. Liked pretty much all of them, except for Dark Souls 2. Really feel like that one missed the mark. And this is coming from the perspective of a massively huge From Software fan. I don't think Elden Ring NightLAME is the direction Miyazaki should take the company. I don't want to see more projects like this. I don't think this game is ultimately going to have a lot of staying power, and I don't think it will be looked at as well as we move into the future. Damn! Is it popular now? Oh, hell, yes it is. We can look at the numbers on Steam. Yes, it's selling like hotcakes, tons of people playing, but I do not anticipate that to continue. I think people will realize how tacked on and forced the co-op element of this game is and, well, quickly fall off.
I don't think so. And I'm never wrong about this stuff. Never.
I'm not saying it's gonna die next week or anything like that. This isn't Concord, okay?
This isn't some damn game.
It'll probably last a lot more than what was Concord, 10, 12 days, something of that sort. But at the same time, I'm predicting, I'm not saying, I'm just predicting, and I could be wrong, that this game will fall off a lot faster than it probably should. And I hope it actually does. Not that I hope it fails by any means, even though that would be fine with me. I just hope that it's not as popular as From Software would prefer, it doesn't have the staying power, and ultimately garners a lot more criticism after this honeymoon period is over, so that From Software fans rise up and say, you know what, that was alright, but let's get back to what From Software does well.
What the hell is that?
I don't think this is really what they do all that well.
That's true.
Might be okay every once in a while, not a huge deal, as long as it's not ruining their other projects or taking time away from another project, but ultimately it does. It's going to take time away from other projects.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Unfortunately, we have more of this kind of thing to look forward to, because From Software announced a new exclusive game coming to the Switch 2, their least popular platform, because the only thing that's ever come to a Nintendo platform from Software that I'm aware of is Dark Souls Remastered, a very lackluster remaster at that.
Ooh, sick burn.
Of course, Elden Ring will also be coming later, but that's not out yet, obviously, because the Switch 2 is not out yet. But releasing an exclusive for the Switch 2 and then tying it to multiplayer at the same time, I don't like the direction things are going right now. That makes for two Souls-like games that are essentially linked to multiplayer, one of which is tied to a brand new system that's coming out that I would argue most From Software fans probably aren't going to get or weren't planning to get, but now feel like, oh, I gotta get this because I gotta play every From Software game. Of course, that's what Nintendo wants. And if you're gonna get a Switch 2 to play the Dusk Bloods or Dusk Blood, whatever it's called, that's fine. I'm not judging you for that, but it does suck that it's coming out in a system that's really priced way more than it should be priced at, and it may cost $80 or even $90 because Nintendo's pushing the price of games ever higher in addition to their own system, which they still reserve the right to raise the price of the system even further if they feel that tariffs warrant it.
This is all wrong.
Long story short, I think NightLAME, while not an asset flip directly, is basically just recycled content from a game we've already played, repackaged and put in a multiplayer-only format, and really doesn't hit the mark the way it probably should have. I think From Software should have looked at it and thought, you know what, this isn't working out, let's abandon this. But once they announce something, they're kind of stuck following through with it. It really doesn't look good for a developer to get everyone hyped up about a new game and say, you know what, it didn't pan out, we're canceling it. That never looks good for a developer. So, based on the fact that they had already announced it, I fully knew that they would go ahead and release it. But I do hope it doesn't rise to any degree of popularity. I hope it wanes pretty quickly so that From Software learns that this is not the direction they should take things. I have no plans at this point to buy a Switch 2, and I have no plans to play the Dusk Bloods or the Dusk Blood, whatever it's called, because I really don't like this tying it, linking it, forcing the multiplayer component. I don't want that to be the new From Software experience moving forward.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
If that's where Miyazaki feels he needs to take the company, he can do that. It's his choice. He may do it pretty well. Some people may like it, but I feel like I'm going to start to move away from his games at that point. However, not the biggest deal in the world, because if that's the direction he's taking the company, then he's moving away from what I want. And there are other companies doing things that I like. Shift Up is releasing a sequel to Stellar Blade. I'm sure that will be great. And while not exactly a Souls-like, it's close enough that it really does fill that niche desire for a Souls-like. There are other companies. We got the Lies of P game, which was really good. There's the AI Limit game. That game was great as well. The first Berserker Kazan, really good one as well. None of them have quite the staying power of, say, the original Dark Souls or Bloodborne or even Elden Ring, but other companies are doing great things with the whole Souls-like genre, and so we don't absolutely need From Software, but it would be really sad for me to have to gravitate away from a company who I would argue was my favorite developer of all time. But what do you think of Elden Ring NightRain and the new direction From Software is going with their upcoming Switch 2 exclusive and pushing things more towards the multiplayer online component? Do you agree with it? Are you excited for it? Or do you think it's going in the wrong direction and you'd rather you just stick to the mostly single player experiences that we've known and loved? Leave your comments down below. It helps me a ton when you leave a comment. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and you can pick up a copy of my novel, New Tokyo, Sci-Fi Cyberpunk. There's a link in the description. And as always, my friends, stay real, keep playing, and never forget, yesterday's tomorrow is today's today. See you in the next one.